We are very delighted to partner every month, though this is the last monthly Little States Big Innovation for the summer break. We love to partner with Rhode Island Israel Collaborative and the RIHub or RIHub, depending on who says it, every month to invite exciting startups to tell their stories. And we have the hopes that maybe someday you'll land here in Rhode Island, because we'd love for you to scale in the US, and we're all a very tight-knit community here that can connect you to what you need so you can scale fast. So looking forward to today's interviews. Annette Tonti, I'm going to hand it over, I guess, to Avi, and then Annette, you'll take the mic and take it from there.
Thank you, Tuni. It's a great collaboration between District Hall Providence and the RIHub, and it's a pleasure. But first, because it's a last program before the recess for the summer, it's in our 9th program, I want to thank every one of you, Annette Tonti, Tuni Schartner, Avi Malinger, Alexandra Del Pico, Jackie Lee, Ellison Foley, Amy Erickson, Ashley Madiro, and last but not least to Ophir. Ophir is going to move from Rhode Island to Maryland. So I really want to thank you, because she was the engine behind identifying all those companies and doing all the connection. So Ophir, thank you. Also, I want to mention that today I put a tie, and someone commented about my tie. A few years ago, the president of University, Ben Gurion University, Rivka Karmi, was here, and she gave me the tie. It's a Ben Gurion tie, so I promised her one day I'll have it, and it is on me now, so it's great. But it's a really great pleasure, and I'll keep it very short because we have 4 companies with fantastic information to have Dana Gavish Friedman. She's a VP of Entrepreneurship for Ben Gurion University and the head of Yazamut 360. I'm pleased we have people from Oasis and Cactus Capital who support this project. And I want to just make it short. So thank you all. Have a great summer. And Rhode Island and Ben Gurion University have a lot of ties. The governor was there in 2019 before the pandemic. I had the pleasure to be with her. The president, Daniel Khaimovich, was in Rhode Island before the pandemic. Previous president was as well. We have PhDs from Ben Gurion University here at Brown University, and delegation from Brown's going to Ben Gurion. So those ties are really strong and getting stronger. So with that said, I will let Dana, and by the way, Dana was here also 2 years ago. She spoke at the Hillel at Brown, and it's a pleasure. She will be very short time because she has a graduation going on. But Dana, I'm so excited, and next thing will be is bringing you here to Rhode Island. So take it from here, Dana.
Thank you so much, Avi. I apologize for the scenery and for being on my cell phone. This is actually the end of the year ceremony and graduation ceremony of my son's junior high. So I'm right in the middle, and therefore you may hear some noise. But I'd like to say, first of all, there are strong ties between our university, Ben Gurion University of the Negev, and our entrepreneurship center, Yazamut 360. We did indeed meet, and I did visit about 2 years ago, and I'm very much looking forward to coming over again. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to introduce what we're doing at the university, the startups that we are encouraging, the ways that we teach entrepreneurship, very innovative ways. And this is a wonderful event and platform for us to introduce our achievements in the form of 4 startups that we'll be presenting here today. I do see a huge value in the connection between us and Rhode Island, and I think that there's a huge potential. We collaborate here at BGU with IBM AlphaZone, which are also at Rhode Island, and I think that we can do so much more in, bringing our startups to the US through Rhode Island, and I think that is a wonderful goal that we have in mind, and I think it's a win-win situation for all. So thank you for inviting us today and for giving us this platform. I do apologize for not staying for the whole event, but looking forward to having you in Israel first and meeting you, Avi, and good luck to everyone. Thank you for putting this event together, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dana, so much. And I'm looking forward to see you in 2 weeks in Israel. And Annette,
Fantastic.
it's all yours, and we're listening and excited to hear about the companies.
We have 4 exciting companies. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So how this is going to work is the company, we're going to introduce them quickly. They're going to talk and pitch basically for about 10 minutes. I think one of them has a little bit shorter period of time. If there's any time left, we're going to have maybe about 1 or 2 questions, not a lot, because we're going to move on so we can fit everybody in. The first person we're going to hear from is Shai Kavas. Kavas, yeah, you just told me. Sorry about that. SAFEMIND. Now, we all know what's going on in the world right now in cybersecurity and the many attacks happening worldwide. Some of the interesting things that are happening in the United States with security and issues there. So I'm excited to say that SAFEMIND puts human beings at the heart of cybersecurity and privacy, and they basically offer personal, adaptive, context-based security. Without further ado, take it away, Shai.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shai. I'm the CEO of SAFEMIND. And without further ado, I'll start with a quick 20 seconds clip from the movie Social Dilemma by Netflix. I think this short clip will put the right framing of what we're trying to do. So without further ado, I'll try and start with that. Okay, so for those of you who didn't watch the movie Social Dilemma, it basically talks about the huge amount of data that the social media companies are collecting on us. And it's not just the raw data of location, gender, etc. It's their ability to profile us based on our psychological traits. And the key question that we're asking is that, what if someone will take it one step beyond and use our psychology against us? Which means will try to attack us based on our different types of personalities. So the team around this startup is made of three people from the University of Ben Gurion. We have Professor Asaf Shabtai and Professor Rami Puzis. Both are leaders in the AI and cyberspace. Dr. Ron Beaton is the CTO. And as for myself, I joined the team coming from the industry with more than 20 plus years in the industry, McAfee, Intel, Radminat, etc. And we can see that the rest also have some significant type of experience collaborating with external companies as well. So the problem that we're trying to solve is the resilience against targeted attacks. In the last 2 years, we've seen a major shift towards targeted attacks. More than 60 to 70% of the cybersecurity attacks are done based on targets. If in the past, the traditional way to attack people or organizations was to send a spam email for 100,000 employees, now it's changed. Why? Because they have a higher reward right now. COVID-19 basically accelerated this process. The traditional perimeter is gone. People are working from home, from school, universities, cafes, etc. Therefore, there is no traditional boundary to the security measures that can be taken. In addition, people are bleeding the privacy. It's not just the way we share too much information on social media. It's also the way we collaborate with applications on our mobile phones. We simply give away our privacy by granting the applications to whatever information they want from the mobile phone. In total, we found out that based on 8 different sources, 95% of the cyber breaches are caused by human error. This is the first and the weakest link in the security chain. In 2020, during the COVID-19, we've seen a spike in the attempts to manipulate people through social engineering, insider threats, and phishing attacks. Moreover, the prediction is that by the end of 2021, ransomware is going to cost $20 billion for organizations. And the main attack surface and the first step for that is basically using the human factor as the entry point. There is another fact around the advanced persistent threats, APTs. If in the past we were used to think about a hacker sitting in a hoodie in a garage, now we're talking about organized crime or even sponsored types of attacks by governments, where the typical type of attacks is $500,000. Usually, the average damage that they cause is around $41 million. And if you ask yourself, why should someone care? What we're saying is that the human behavior is the key. When we look around us, we think that the world is broken. Most of the solutions around us are focused on technology, measures around technology, and usually they are fixed. Even if people are trying to address the human factor, they usually use traditional training and simulation types of solutions or security email gateways and so on. We believe that SAFEMIND is defining a new category. That's why we're calling it the blue ocean. We are able to address adaptive and offensive AI attacks based on specific people or specific brands. Our vision is to put and shift the center of gravity of cybersecurity around people, not just around technology. And what we're trying to create is adaptive security, tailor-made around people's digital persona. The digital persona is the full trace of what we leave behind in the digital space, if you'd like. And I'll give some examples in a second. What we're saying is that we're trying to protect people against what they're doing without knowing, so others will not use it against them. So some deep dive and explanation of what I just said. In a nutshell, if I'll use Benjamin Netanyahu's phrase, he said that you need to keep it short. So we're trying to create personal, adaptive, context-based security. So what's behind? As I mentioned, we're collecting the digital dust that is left behind. It could be your activity on the PC, on the mobile, social media, browsing activities, networking activities, connecting from different locations, email activity, downloading applications, and so on. We're taking all this type of information and creating a persona. The persona could be the combination of my data, my behavior, and all the private things that I'm doing, and assuming no one knows about them. I'll give you an example. If I'm coming home at 5 p.m. and my daughter, she's an 8-year-old daughter, she takes my mobile phone and she starts to install Barbie applications on it, this means that I'm at risk. Our system knows that the persona of Shai is based on someone who's usually acting very safely, but there are specific time zones where he's acting completely without responsibility. That's the combination of what creates the persona. The output of this is a prioritized risk score and a visual attack path, which means we can actually map the connection between personalities and vulnerabilities. We can actually tell on a minute level if, let's say, an extrovert is more exposed to specific type of attacks. An introvert would react in a different manner. I can actually tell that the context is not just time and location, it also the type of activity that the person is doing. Another example, if someone is looking for a job, then he will most likely be more open to open emails coming out from potential new employers. If I know that fact, then I can attack them. We're saying that the whole process of creating this persona is going continuously again and again and again, and we provide value from day one by providing a generic persona, which then again is being fine-tuned based on the different employees. Looking around us, it seems like the competition is more focused on the left half of this screen. Again, if you'll see, you'll notice that most of them are looking on technology and static and deterministic security. The world around us is changing. It is AI-generated attacks. When we spoke with IBM as our sponsors of IBM AlphaZone, they have two types of activities. They have UEBA, which is user and endpoint behaviors analysis, and they do have another acquisition that they made of Trusteer. In both cases, what they're trying to do is to understand what are the anomalies. which is completely different with what SafeMind is doing. SafeMind is trying to profile the activity to ensure that you're acting safe or not. And if we're finding out that you're not, then we can actually activate the safeguard without you even knowing about it. Looking on differentiation, in the heart of our technology, we have a special taxonomy, which we call a behavioral taxonomy. And I'll try to explain in a nutshell. When we look at the attack families, we look beyond just phishing. You know, it is not just an anti-phishing solution. We look at the file masquerading, application masquerading, different types of social networking activities, and so on. And we look on the different type of exploits. For each of those exploits, we're dividing it into subsections. For example, in the application lifecycle, the first step is the application installation. We take this step and divide it into subtopics: untrusted sources, permission, and so on. Then we add another dimension, which was validated based on multiple pilots. We're trying to add the psychological flavor, exactly the same thing as being done by social media companies like Facebook and LinkedIn and others. Then we combine both of them and provide a security score for this specific individual. We also collect the circle of trust, which means your friends, the friends of your friends. And if they're acting safe, then we're good. If they're not acting safe, it will influence your score. The last differentiator factor is the privacy. Basically, we can protect our users against hostile AI trying to learn their persona. We can actually mask it completely, or they can choose to expose only specific portions of their persona outside. As mentioned by Annette, this is based on 7 years of research, and it is fully patented.
All right, we're right at time. So if you want to wrap up one more slide, that'd be great.
Okay, so what you're seeing here right now is some of the testimonials that we got from industry leaders. Again, a lot of feedbacks around the innovative approach of those type of solutions. We're talking about a huge market, a combination of privacy, risk management, and context-aware computing. The value proposition is both for employees, chief information security officers, and managed security service providers. And if we're talking about the business model, it's a good, better, best based on the level of richness of information that we're collecting. At the moment, we're targeting agentless and agent-based solution, mobile solution, then social media, and lastly, the privacy angle. We're just starting the fundraise round, and we're looking for $5 million type of investment, or alternatively, looking for design win partners and potential customers to join the ride. Up until now, we got $1 million grant from the Innovation Authority in Israel, got a good traction. The pilot that we conducted lasted 7 weeks on 162 users, and we're ready to go live 6 months from investment.
Excellent.
That's it.
That was great. I know you didn't get to all 31 slides I see down there, but anyway, that was really awesome. I just want to invite the audience, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If we don't get to them now, we will make sure that we try to fit them in at the end or get to them, certainly get them over to Shai later. I just have one quick question. As you think about the future, are you thinking about the United States as a potential market? If you are, is that on your timeline anywhere? Are you thinking like, what could we do now to help in the US?
Yeah, the potential market that we're looking for is mainly United States. This is going to be the first go-to market, then Europe, and then the rest of the world. This is part of the reason why we're looking to be super compliant with different privacy regulation protocols that are based in the United States and in Europe.
That's great. Awesome. Okay. Anybody else have another question at this point? Shai, that's really exciting. Somebody asked, how will your software solution scale up to compete with the investment? And this is from John Phillips, and computing power of attackers. And if you could answer that question in about a minute, that'd be great. That doesn't sound like a minute, but.
Yeah, so we believe that despite of the investment and the computing power of the attackers, there is no way for an attacker to guess what another AI is doing. we're basically applying adversarial AI technologies against potential attackers, which means they usually are used to deal with, let's say, AI that is trying to protect the system. We're doing the opposite. We're trying to attack the attackers without them knowing about it. And that's how we confuse them.
Awesome. That's terrific. Thank you again, Shai, for being here with us today. Very exciting. We want to follow up with you because we have the opportunity to get you here to Rhode Island as your base of operations. We'd love to do that. All right. Next up, we're going to hear from the CEO and founder of EcoPrice, or EcoPrice, probably EcoPrice, and it's Omri.
So hi, we are EcoPrice, and we are developing innovative pricing intelligence solution, both for businesses and consumers. So ever since I remember myself, I was obsessed about online shopping. I always had to buy the cheapest product there is. I was spending a lot of my time pursuing the best deals. Eventually, I was looking for a tool to make my life easier. But when I couldn't find, I decided to build one. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who thought so, and just a few months after launching, we already reached thousands of users worldwide. We even got selected in Deloitte's 2020 Retail Stack Report as one of the best smart pricing tools for businesses. That's when we figured out we were on something else. After some research, we discovered the massive need in the exact same solution for online retailers. Just like myself, 36% of online shoppers stated that the price is the most important factor in a purchasing decision. That's why online retailers' ability to stay competitive in each one of their products is so important. In addition, 90% of them are small and medium businesses that doesn't have a lot of resources. Shopify is the new home for small businesses that want to start rapidly. Shopify's ecosystem more than doubles itself every year. By the end of 2020, it even overtakes eBay with 530 billion in gross margin value. Most of the stores are not currently using pricing intelligence tool, and for the most part, working manually to achieve the best pricing strategy, which leads to a loss both in time and profits. Now imagine you own a store with hundreds of products, and you need to stay competitive in each one of them. With endless websites selling the same products, and the frequent prices are changed. For instance, Amazon makes 2.5 million changes a day, making this task impossible and inefficient to do manually. You have probably already heard about some similar solutions in that field. The truth is that today's solutions are not really automated. In fact, they will make you work very hard to get started and will require heavy maintenance. So why it's so hard to make a real automated platform? Data extraction requires a lot of network expertise to understand each site structure and overcome different security obstacles. Also can be unstable and expensive technologies to deal with. Many platforms today delivers unreliable data or a very expensive price tag. To create a fully automated matching process is very challenging and requires different AI techniques. One of the reasons is the way retailers obfuscate their data from their competition. Most platforms today will leave the job for the user. Imagine you have 10,000 products and you have 5 competitors. You will need to maintain 50,000 URLs by yourself. Finally, the solution has to be generic and scalable enough to fit all types of retailers. For instance, today platforms won't deal with the shipping costs or availability of the product to the retailer location, which make the insights almost useless. So I'm Omri, I'm the CEO of EcoPrice. I own a BSc in computer science from Ben-Gurion University, and I am experienced full stack developer. My brother Adi is our CTO. He's A200 alumni with vast experience as a software engineer, and also possess a BSc in computer science. Our expertise as a global comparison engine enables us to develop to develop a fully automated platform that will gain retailers the power to understand the most profitable pricing strategies and will do them for, and even will do it for them. We are also providing API for software companies and big retailers. Our biggest advantage is our ability to understand each site's network structure and extract the data in the most accurate and efficient way. Alongside with our unique matching algorithm, we are creating seamless solution with no hassle from the client. There are around 10 million stores worldwide, which makes the total TAM around $18 billion. 90% of them generates less than $1 million per year. Our strategy is to target those small and medium businesses, which leads to a sum of approximately $10 billion. Sorry. All right. So what we have done till now was about a year ago when we started our company. We raised capital from Cactus, the BGU. The BGU VC, yeah, fund, and we developed the EcoPrice app. And we launched an Israeli. We launched a pilot in the Israeli market, and also we gained a few thousand users worldwide, which makes our pilot was pretty successful. We also launched a pilot in the US, which was pretty good as well. In the middle of the understand that we had to pivot because the unit economics of our product wasn't good enough. So then when we started to develop the B2B model for retailers, today we are launching our MVP with initial design partners and customers in the Israeli market. We are also currently in the A200 and Cactus accelerator. Our next step is to raise our seed, and we'll start it in probably the following month, and to adjust the go-to-market and the product, and of course after that we will grow the team and increase our customer base. Basically, we are currently looking for also VCs that might be interested in our solution. We might raise between $1 to $2 million, and also we are looking for companies, e-commerce companies that based in the US that want to partner with us and be the beta testers or beta users of our product in the US, because we already have some traction in Israel, and we want to see to better understand the US market and to launch there also the pilot. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. You did a great job. So quick question for you. What kind of customers would be best for you to be introduced to? Who are you looking to be introduced to? Yeah, so our go-to-market is mainly SMBs, but because we are wanting to have a strong partners, so we are basically doing our MVP with bigger companies in Israel. So that might be the case also in the US. We will want some medium, maybe large companies, e-commerce companies, but actually we can also work with small ones. It depends, but we are focusing on mainly medium-sized companies to launch a pilot in the US. Okay, great. We will follow up with you on that. Thank you again, Omri, for being here. It's been terrific to hear. I'm excited to learn more. Actually, I think you're onto something huge. When something goes from 0 to 5,000 in a quick period of time, I think you nailed something. So I'm really interested in following up with you to figure out how we can maybe help you and get you over here into Rhode Island. So thank you again, Omri.
Great, thank you guys.
Right. Great. So we have Yitzchak, Shamia. of Deltika next, where we're basically going to unlock the short-term rental gaps using artificial intelligence.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yitzchak Shamia. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Deltika. The goal of Deltika is to unlock the short-term rental gap with explainable AI. So this is a New York map. We see properties of all kinds: long-term rental, short-term rental, offices, and more. Real estate investors know that short-term rental properties can be extremely profitable if you will know how to spot the right assets to invest in. Many of these properties may need some changes, like renovation, new furniture, or extra amenities to become profitable short-term rental business. When I say short-term rental, so I guess that most of you think about Airbnb, so this is exactly it. The biggest question those short-term rental investors need to ask themselves and to answer is, what can they do to make this long-term rental property into a short-term profitable assets without overspending time, resources, and money? So let's talk about the opportunity of the short-term rental market. In the last 10 years, this market grew from $40 billion to more than $114 billion. Airbnb, Booking, Tugila, Booking Holdings, and TripAdvisor, everyone knows about them. Why? Because they have more demand than supply. Airbnb CEO said that the company will need a million more hosts to meet the surging demand. This is only from the last 2 weeks. The arbitrage for the short-term rental gap over here is determined by the profit. Those hosts can make sometimes 1.5 to 3 times more profit than long-term rental leases. In that year, this year, it was a tough year. We all know Corona, but new hosts earned more than $1.2 billion on Airbnb alone. So what's the problem? The problem is that it's very hard to find, to predict those profitable short-term rental arbitrage. Like every good opportunity, it's hard to find, it's hard to analyze. You need a lot of data, you need a lot of information, and basically think about it. You have one asset with 2 different values. In order to understand the reason behind the prediction, the reason behind this value, there is a need to understand, not only to predict with simple AI tools, but also to explain to the end user what stands behind this value. And in order to maximize this profit, there is a need for investment. In order to take a long-term property and to make it into a short-term property, you just can list it over Airbnb. You need to make some changes. You need to invest in it. And to know what you need to invest, what's going to make you unique, that is a tough question that only one number cannot answer. As I said, my name is Shamia, and I'm the co-founder, the CEO of Deltika. In my background, I was the head of the ammunition department in the Navy submarine. I work over there. I work and was in charge of over 14 engineering projects and $80 million budget. After my Navy service, I founded autonomous drone company, and I was in charge of the AI image recognition technology and the general operation. I teamed up with Professor RIIC, professor of computer science from Ben-Gurion University, and one of the well-known AI experts for that field. Rui Brudo is my CTO, and Daniel Neder is my VP R&D, and both of them have more than 15 to 16 years of R&D management, data science, and algorithm skills. What we offer is a 4-step solution. The first is to identify. We'll scan all the properties around and we'll cherry pick the most relevant properties to invest in. Then we'll make a combination of AI model, static, time series models that will include seasons, trends, and all what you can think of to make accurate prediction. Then we'll explain it to the end user. We'll constantly analyze the possible changes that can be done in order to unlock the hidden potential of a specific value, of a specific assets. And that's what eventually will help you to act wisely and to know exactly what should be done. Let's look how it's looked like today. So today we managed to do piloting we took a lot of data information about Dallas. We analyzed there the potential market, and we start identifying new assets. We're scanning the area and find the best arbitrage deal. Then we can show exactly why the same assets have two different value, the short-term value and the long-term value. And we show you how the algorithm, how an AI algorithm with tons of data making decision. What's causing to surging in the demand, what's causing to low season, everything transparent. Eventually, if you really want to know what affecting the prediction and what affecting the value and in what direction, you can see per feature what's really matter. If it's because that you are close to some nice area, or if it's because you have noisy place, or if it's because this is that you have concert seasons is very close to your apartment. And eventually, we are helping you in a granular level to understand what should be changed over the assets to make your assets profitable and unique. For example, if you will invest in these assets in pool, so you should expect a return on investment of $7,000 a month, a year, sorry. So how the process looks today. The process today is cumbersome. It can take to a skilled short-term investor up to 4 months to identify, to go to the place, to search for property, to hire some real estate agent, to get to the place, to perform market analysis, to calculate if it's worth it or not, what's going to be up season, low season, what investment you need to do. Then sometimes you need to find a loan, to find some funding for that. And then to ongoing management, to understand what prices should be changed, when, what can make it unique. This is a long process. We offer to do things smartly. Of course, we cannot do everything, but everything that requires data, analysis, and information can help us to reduce this time. We can cover most of this process of today and to reduce it by 2/3. Let's talk about the idea behind our technology. So in simple way, what we're doing, we're taking long-term assets, making a prediction for that assets in one market, the long-term market, the traditional market. So for example, you get the prediction for $2,350 a month that you will be able to charge to rent these assets. What we are doing, we are analyzing and basically creating huge what-if scenarios over these assets, assessing all of the possible changes and see what will maximize these assets to reach to its maximum potential. Our model knows what can be changed and what can't be changed. We're not going to recommend you to do things that you cannot do. We're going to recommend you for the smallest changes that will unlock the full potential of your assets. We are the only company of today that can work both for static AI model and both for sophisticated time series model. This is our competitors. Most of the competitors focusing on more graph, more BI, and making the process sometimes even longer. Even though that you have the information, it's hard to analyze, and sometimes you have more data in all of this, in all this already full of data. We're trying to simplify things to make it explainable, to reach into our target, to increase your ROI, and to unlock your hidden value. This is a huge market. Airbnb themselves assessed the market, and they said that the market is growing 23% CAGR with $1.1 trillion market. Our goal is to be able to make this analysis for more countries, for more states. After Dallas, we want to move to more states like Rhode Island. Actually, is a great opportunity, to Philadelphia, Atlanta, and more, to strengthen our algorithm, to collaborate with more and more property managers, real estate contractor and investors, real estate agent, and everything that a brokers that work in that field, and to help them to unlock this hidden potential. The long-term goal of the company is to be the largest fund for short-term rental investing and to manage it by ourselves. The goal is to be scalable enough to go to any state in the world and to make full analysis quick and accurate.
All right. Thank you. Wow, you just nailed it right there. All right, Yitzchak, thank you so much. We actually don't have a lot of time for questions, but let me just ask real quickly. US market, have you entered it already? Are you interested? It sounds like you did some work already in New York.
Yeah, we are doing, actually most of our work is in Dallas at the moment. We are analyzing Dallas. We are about to partner with big property manager companies that manage more than 100 assets. The next step is to go to San Antonio and more states. And this is our goal, to meet more people interested in this market, to find invest. Also, we're raising fund at the moment, so angels and funds that interested in that field can be very useful for us.
Great. We're going to follow up because we're here in the Northeast.
Annette, let me interrupt because I think we can connect him with Newport because there's a huge rental opportunities there. Newport have around 3.5 million tourists in 5 months. So just keep a note on that. Be in touch with me.
Yes, I agree. There's lots we could do with you here. So we're excited to follow up after this. And last but not least, OwnTheJob. We're going to hear from Shai, Meital.
So good morning, everyone in the US, and good evening, everyone in Israel. It's a hard hour of the day to present because we have small children in the house. So I managed to grab these 10 minutes to talk to you about OwnTheJob. So basically, my name is Shai Meital. I'm the co-founder and CEO of OwnTheJob. Currently, I'm a data scientist in the industry. Before that, I played several roles in the data world, data engineering, so on and so forth. My partner is Nadav Ben Adar. He's the CTO of the company. We're working together for the past 10 years in the development world, software development it is. And we partnered also with Ofir Kaduri. She's our director of UX, and we have several of advisors that I don't have so much time to talk about. So basically, Nadav and I are working in the industry, and we work a lot with junior software developers. And we saw that there's a major gap between the knowledge they have and the knowledge they are required to have in the industry. Serious gap that no one actually took into consideration up until now. So we decided to do a little research, and we saw that software development studies have the highest dropout rate in the academia, and 60% of the people that actually finish their tutorship, they can't find a junior job. And I'm not talking about just MIT students or Stanford, talking about online courses and colleges and you name it. And basically, we also saw that currently the way they teach these students is quite outdated, and it's not really interesting. And on the other hand, you have these high-tech companies that spend billions of dollars on the failed recruitment pipelines. Basically, they have almost zero knowledge about the person that they're hiring. So what they're doing, they try to make a home test or an exercise. They're trying to evaluate the person, but in order to evaluate him, they're also putting a lot of money in interviews, 3 or 4 technical interviews that cost them thousands of dollars to execute. And we also saw that junior software developers, they don't have the right skills that they're required to have in the industry. So what we wanted to do, we teamed up, Nadav and I teamed up, and we decided to bring the solution to this thing. First of all, we want to save the billions of dollars on the failed recruitments. We want to have the junior employees work better and faster. And we want to have a good time for the students to understand how they're going to function in the future. So I'm going to present to you OwnTheJob training. Training is a platform that we are currently developing to teach students and users software development while being in a software development team. So how it's going to work. So taking a junior, a student, someone who's just finished his studies or during his studies, he comes to our platform, he selects a domain, for example, medicine, and he selects a company. You can think about maybe Teva, an Israeli company for medicine, and he gets hired by the platform in the company, and basically joined a mimic of the team itself. He follows a full recruitment path where he does an onboarding. We install software that he needs to work, that he needs to be able to work in a team, and we start a sprint. Sprint is the cycles of work within software development, and basically we treat him as an employee, and we give him tasks and we test him. Everything, of course, is code, is based on AI and code, and we teach him the work while working on the job, basically. Here is a quick screen from our MVP. You can see here that the user selects a company. For example, Scooter is a company for distributing scooters in a city. So he selects the company, and overall he starts the tutorial and he starts to get tasks, and he is an employee in the company from that moment. And in the terms of the companies, usually they have kind of the R&D manager that creates a candidate profile. We call that profiling. And he goes to the recruiter and says, get me some candidates, please. And most of the time, the recruiter just brings them the best resumes he can find online. There's nothing smarter than that going on. And they start evaluating the persons. So basically, we allow him to do the smart filtering and the precise, give us a precise vector of personality he's looking. And we gather the data from the learning process and be able to match that. So here is kind of a screen of how the information looks for the HR person, the recruiter. He sees a lot of different metrics that he can select and filter from and get the right employee for the company that he needs. So our target market is aspiring software developers. We aim at high-tech companies that want to recruit. And due to COVID-19, we also have a lot of career shifters, people moving on to programming, trying their world in the programming world because of the high demand and salaries and so on. In terms of market size, just alone in the US, there is around $25 billion in e-learning that revolves around software development. You're missing around 500,000 of developers, and each time pipeline is broken, it's around $4,000 to fix. It's a lot of money for these companies. And if I can sum up the value proposition of our company is, first, we give value to the junior developers. We teach them the work, actually. We give value to academic institutions. We make them leaders in the market. We can increase the KPIs of the student industry KPIs, making them faster, get the job faster, and so on. And we give value to the high-tech companies, allowing them to officially recruit. So basically, sum up the advantages. We're training a developer. We're doing it with a lot of AI in the background, trying to understand and get data on the learning process, using the learning process of the students. And for the companies themselves, we allow them to cut down on the failed recruitments, do things smarter, and attract best fit developers. Actually, get the vector they want and not the vector that the recruiter thought it's best for them. In terms of competitors, most of our competitors, if you're familiar with Udemy, Coursera, or the other online courses companies, they do kind of a frontal learning. They give you lectures and they do some automated exercises. We do a different whole new game. We do experience. We teach you soft and hard skills during the work itself. So it's not like a lecture and exercises. In terms of investments, we are currently backed by Cactus Capital. They help us a lot in BGU. In terms of the roadmap, we are looking for a beta with BGU. It will start in October. Currently, we're developing the beta. In the beta, we will give hundreds of students MVP solution and test their learning and try to prove more that it's helping them to understand better the jobs and finding jobs. Our goal, one of the goals of this conversation is to to do a penetration to the US market. We would love to do a beta in the US market in the end of this year. preferably with Brown University, but I'm open to hear another propositions. We want to have a first design partner and customer in the US and make a beta with them. That's kind of our goal for now.
All right.
You can find me in this email.
Shai.
You can check our website.
Perfect.
more
Hey, by the
details.
way, before we get started, before we end, I would say yes. I love this idea, and RIHub will help. I know that Avi will help, but not only Brown University, but I think our region. We would love to help.
You need to talk with New England Tech. Be in touch with me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing, and I think they'll be a perfect partner. So be in touch with me regarding New England Tech. It's in Rhode Island.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
And even beyond that, general, we can help with that, sort of getting it known out there, because it's a wonderful platform. So thank you. All right, that's it. Avi, over to you.
Okay, so thank you, Annette. Thank you for the company. Thank you for the whole team. I think it's another example of the innovation that's coming off of Israel, of Ben-Gurion University, and the quality of companies we have here are amazing. A few months ago, we had a company by the name Tailor Made, to those who remember, and they just raised $20 million with the Providence Health Center in Seattle, but that's another opportunity to be exposed. So I would like to thank my partners here, the RIHub, the whole team of District Hall Providence. And as I said, we're going to go to a summer recess and get back sometime in the spring, in autumn. And Tuni, it's all yours.
Well said, Avi. Thank you so much to our team here, Annette and RIHub and Avi and Ophir and the Rhode Island Israel Collaborative and our amazing team here at District Hall and Venture Cafe Providence. And thank you to all the startup founders who take the time to come share your stories. Today was super interesting, and wish you all the best of luck and hope we're able to help in whatever way we can get you to land here and grow here. So thank you all. Happy summer recess. We'll see you back here in the fall or autumn, however you describe it. Thank you.
And remember, Rhode Island is a hidden jewel, so don't miss the opportunity.